The containment pod closed with a quiet metallic click. Inside it, Vincent Hale lay perfectly still. To anyone scanning the cargo bay of the departing convoy, the pod looked like ordinary freight. A standard cryogenic transport container used for delicate biological materials. Nothing important. Nothing alive. But inside, Vincent was very much awake. He blinked slowly in the dim blue light. "Next time," he muttered quietly into the small comm bead in his ear, "I'd prefer first-class seating." Kira's voice answered inside his mind through the encrypted link. "This container is shielded against deep scans," she said calmly. Comfort was not a priority. Clearly. The cargo freighter lifted from Frontier's edge, engines rumbling through the hull. The colony shrank beneath them, disappearing into copper clouds and fading stormlight. Vincent watched the feed from a small display embedded in the pod. Frontier's edge looked peaceful from orbit. Too peaceful. He crossed his arms. "Well," he said softly, "I suppose being officially dead has advantages." Kira stood on the command deck of the freighter above him. She wore the same neutral expression she had practiced for years. To the other crew members, she looked like a calm Directorate operative returning from a completed mission. But inside, her mind was racing. Every second she remained connected to the Directorate network increased the risk of exposure. The convoy jumped into faster-than-light travel. Stars stretched into thin silver lines. Their destination, Confederation core space. The most protected region in known territory. The place Vincent Hale absolutely should not be. The long journey. The trip lasted 2 days. During that time, Kira prepared. She accessed Directorate archives, gathering fragments of restricted information while pretending to finalize her mission report. What she found confirmed her suspicions. A secret faction within the Confederation Council had been manipulating military decisions for years. Their goal was simple. Start a war with humanity. Not immediately. Not openly. But slowly, carefully, using controlled incidents. Assassinations. Sabotage. Border conflicts. Vincent's death had been meant to be the first spark. Kira sent the encrypted files to Vincent's pod. Inside the container, Vincent studied the information carefully. "That's a lot of secrets," he murmured. "Yes. And they won't like us knowing." "No." Vincent sighed. "Well," he said, "that's unfortunate for them." Arrival. The convoy emerged from hyperspace near the Confederation capital system. Vincent watched the sensor feed with quiet amazement. The system was enormous. Hundreds of orbital stations floated around a brilliant blue star. Massive shipyards constructed warships the size of cities. Civilian traffic moved in perfect patterns like glowing rivers of light. And in the center of it all floated the capital world. A planet covered in shining silver cities. Vincent whistled softly. "That's impressive." Kira did not respond immediately. Her attention was focused on the approaching security checkpoint. Every vessel entering core space was scanned. Thoroughly. Dangerously thoroughly. The convoy slowed as automated drones surrounded the ship. Scanning beams passed across the hull. Inside the cargo bay, Vincent felt the pod vibrate. "Tell me this shield works," he whispered. "It will," Kira replied. The scan lasted 10 seconds. Then 20. Vincent held his breath. Finally, the drone lights changed from red to green. Clearance granted. The convoy moved forward. Vincent exhaled slowly. "I'm starting to like your planning skills." "You should," Kira said quietly. The capital. The freighter landed on an enormous orbital station above the capital world. Cargo crews began unloading shipments immediately. Kira walked through the station corridors with perfect calm, guiding the container holding Vincent. The station was vast. Thousands of beings moved through the halls. Humans. Aliens. Machines. Trade, politics, and military power all mixed together in one massive network. Vincent watched everything through the pod camera. "This place is huge," he said. "It is the center of Confederation power." "Which means," Vincent added, "it's also where the trouble is." Kira stopped outside a restricted elevator. She scanned her identification. The doors opened silently. The elevator descended deep into the station, toward the Directorate archive vaults. The archives. The vaults were heavily protected. Biometric locks. Neural authentication. Military guards. Kira passed through them all without hesitation. Her rank allowed access. For now. She entered the central archive chamber and connected her neural implant to the system. Massive streams of data flooded her mind. Vincent spoke quietly from the pod. Find the proof. I'm searching. The system was enormous. Millions of records. Hidden operations. Classified military decisions. Then suddenly, Kira found it. A secure file cluster labeled Project Catalyst. She opened it. Vincent's death order appeared immediately, followed by dozens of similar operations. Target lists. Manipulated intelligence reports. Plans to blame humanity for attacks they never committed. Vincent read the files through the shared feed. That's it, he said quietly. Evidence of war planning. Yes. Kira copied everything. But the moment she did, the alarm triggered. Red lights flooded the chamber. A mechanical voice echoed through the station. Unauthorized data extraction detected. Vincent groaned. I was hoping for a quiet mission. Security doors slammed shut across the station. Directorate forces were already moving. Kira disconnected from the system. They know. Then we should probably leave, Vincent said. Yes. Escape. Kira opened the cargo pod. Vincent stepped out for the first time since arriving. He stretched his arms. Good to be alive again. He looked around the archive chamber. Then at the approaching security alerts on the walls. Although, he added, timing could be better. Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor. Security troops. Kira handed Vincent a compact pulse pistol. You may need this. Vincent inspected the weapon. Nice. He smiled slightly. Feels like old times. The door exploded inward. Armed Directorate soldiers rushed inside. Vincent moved instantly. Years of Legion training returned like muscle memory. 2 precise shots disabled the first soldiers. Kira moved beside him with incredible speed, her enhanced reflexes making her nearly impossible to hit. Within seconds, the chamber was clear. Vincent looked at her. You fight well. So do you. More alarms sounded. More soldiers were coming. Vincent grabbed the data core Kira had extracted. This better be worth it. It is. They ran into the corridor. Security forces were everywhere now. But Vincent had an advantage. He had spent years fighting impossible battles. And he had learned something very important. Sometimes survival was not about winning. Sometimes survival was about running faster than everyone chasing you. They reached a maintenance corridor leading toward the docking bay. Vincent grinned. Do you have an escape ship? Yes. Excellent. Behind them, dozens of security troops poured into the hallway. Vincent glanced back. Time to leave. The escape shuttle launched from the station like a bullet. Behind them, alarms screamed across the orbital city. Directorate warships began moving immediately. Vincent piloted the shuttle while Kira worked on the navigation console. How long until they catch us? Vincent asked. Minutes. Wonderful. 3 interceptor ships appeared behind them. Weapons charging. Vincent sighed. I was hoping for a peaceful trip home. Laser fire flashed past the shuttle. Vincent twisted the controls. The small ship spun through space, narrowly avoiding the blasts. They are faster, Kira warned. I noticed. Vincent looked ahead. The jump drive was still charging. 20 seconds. The interceptors were closing. Vincent's eyes narrowed. Hold on. He pushed the shuttle directly toward a massive cargo freighter crossing the traffic lanes. Kira looked at him. That is a collision course. Trust me. At the last second, Vincent rolled the shuttle beneath the freighter's hull. The interceptors fired. And their shot struck the cargo ship shields instead. The confused pilots hesitated. That hesitation was enough. The jump drive activated. Stars stretched into light. The shuttle vanished into hyperspace. The truth spreads. The moment they escaped, Vincent transmitted the stolen files. Not to the human military. Not to the Confederation government. He sent them everywhere. Independent media networks. Neutral trade guilds. Diplomatic channels. Public archives. Within hours, the truth spread across the galaxy. The extremist faction's plan was exposed. Evidence was undeniable. Secret assassinations. Manipulated conflicts. Plans for interstellar war. Public outrage exploded across Confederation worlds. Council members demanded investigations. Military commanders refused to follow orders from the extremist faction. The careful plan for war collapsed instantly. Vincent leaned back in the pilot seat. "Well," he said, "that should ruin someone's day." Kira watched the news feeds with quiet disbelief. "You changed everything." "No," Vincent replied. "We just told the truth." The last threat. But the extremists were not finished. A massive Directorate warship appeared from hyperspace behind them. A battleship. Too powerful for their small shuttle to fight. Vincent stared at the screen. "That's a problem." "They will destroy us before we reach human space," Kira said. Vincent thought for a moment. Then he smiled slightly. "I have an idea." He opened a communication channel. The battleship commander appeared on the screen. "Vincent Hale," the officer said coldly. "You should be dead." "Technically," Vincent replied, "I am." "You will surrender immediately." Vincent shook his head. "Sorry. I'm busy." He transmitted the final file. A secret recording Kira had found inside the archives. The voice of the extremist leader openly discussing their war plan. The recording spread instantly across the Confederation fleet network. The battleship commander went silent. Then he looked shocked. "You released this?" "Yes." Behind the battleship, more ships appeared. Confederation fleet vessels. Not hostile. They had received the evidence. And they were angry. The extremist faction's ships were suddenly surrounded. The commander of the battleship looked at Vincent again. "You just started a revolution." Vincent shrugged. "I prefer the word correction." Returning home. Weeks later, Vincent stood again on the soil of Frontiers Edge. The colony had grown while he was gone. More buildings. More farms. More people. His death had made him something of a legend. When he walked into the settlement, Mara nearly fainted. "You idiot," she shouted. "You were supposed to be dead." "I tried," Vincent said. "It didn't stick." The colonists laughed and cheered. But Vincent's attention moved elsewhere. Kira stood quietly near the landing pad, watching the sky. "You're staying?" Vincent asked. "For now. Your people might not like that." "They are rebuilding their government," she said. "The extremists have been removed." Vincent nodded. "So, temporary vacation." "Perhaps." He smiled slightly. Frontiers Edge looked peaceful again. But the galaxy beyond it was changing. Humans and Confederation worlds were now negotiating real alliances. Real cooperation. Not secrets. Not manipulation. Kira looked at Vincent. "You started all this." "No," he said quietly. "We just refused to let fear decide the future." She studied him. "You are an unusual human." Vincent grinned. "That's what everyone keeps telling me." The sun began setting over the copper desert. Frontiers Edge glowed with soft lights. A small colony, but now one that had changed the fate of the galaxy. And somewhere beyond the stars, new dangers were already forming. But if they came, they would find something waiting. Human stubbornness. And the quiet promise of the 7th Legion. If you threaten the innocent, humans will answer.